Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn the layout of Photoshop and what things are called. And this right here is your toolbox. This right here is your canvas. These are your palettes. It's not just called like layer palette. It's not called history palette. This is just called palettes, okay? And then there are different palettes within. This is your option bar, and then up here is your menu bar. So for your toolbox, there are a lot of different tools in your toolbox. You are only seeing what's on the surface, but if you see a little arrow and then you click and you hold down, there are tools underneath. All those tools. And whatever tool you used last is usually what's going to be on the top. These. Okay, so on and so on. We will only probably in Photography 1 get through half of these tools, but it's a good chunk. So as I'm clicking on these tools, I want you to look at your option bar up here. It's actually changing, okay? So every single tool in the toolbox has different options. Some of them not as much, some of them a lot more complicated, okay? All right, so in Classroom, here is everything that I just talked about, okay? Written out for you. What you're gonna do today is you are going to look at the adjustments, and then you're gonna write down what each of these adjustments do. Now, I know what they do, so it doesn't matter for me if you put the definition if you put the word in the definition. This is really for you to look back and be like, okay, I forget what hue and saturation does. So I can quickly look and check to see what hue and saturation does, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna read them and make sure they make sense, but I'm not going to make sure that they're full sentences and that you're not using the word inside the definition. You can do that, okay? All right, so let's pop back to Photoshop. So here are my adjustments. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna try each one of these and we are gonna write down what it is that they do, all right? So if I go to my brightness and contrast, this screen will pop up. And I want you to try everything in these screens, okay? I can move this over. It's going to make it lighter. I bring it over here, makes it darker. Okay, the contrast, what is it doing? But then I also have this up here. What does this do? Oh, okay, I have all of these buttons. All right, what if I feather? What does that do? It's not doing anything. Okay, color range, what does this do? Okay, that brought me into a whole nother screen. What is it doing? Okay, like, oh, what's this? What if I come over here and click this? What if I come over here and click this? Okay, I don't expect you to know what it is that what it's doing right now, but I expect you to explore. This is your time to explore. Today in class, you're gonna answer this worksheet and then you're gonna edit 4 photos. But this is your only time to experiment with these. So I really, really, really want you to be trying out all these different buttons and clicking different things. Because say I hit OK, and then let's say I do this, and then that, and then I go to my layers. There's this image right here. If I just take the eye on and off, it takes it away, okay? So it doesn't matter. You're not really ruining your photo. You're just adding a layer on top of it. Okay, so then I'm going to take the eye off of that. I tried my brightness and contrast. I'm going to write down what I think it does. I'm going to go back to my adjustments. I'm going to try the next one. I'm going to try levels. Now there's a bunch of stuff in here. So if I go like this, or if I go like this, what if I do this? Okay, like why would you want your photo like that? You wouldn't, but you get to see what it's doing, okay? So you're experimenting today and you're playing with this. So if I click over here, and then I do that. I click on this one and then click here. What does that do? Whoa, so I clicked on the yellow and it did that, turned it to blue. That was weird. Okay. And then there's this. Okay, like that. All right. So I'm in RGB. Let me try red. What is red going to do? Okay. If you're too far gone and you want to start fresh, you can just hit the trash can at the bottom. And then you can go back to your adjustments and you can go back to your levels and then just say, okay, I'm going to try it over again. Maybe if I go to green, what does green do? Okay. So I clicked green, but it's changing red. Why is it doing that? You know, really, this is your time. Oh, there's numbers here. What if I type in this number? What does that do? Okay. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take this time. I want you to play with this and just see what it does. Okay. Go back to layers. Yeah. And again, I just can take the eye off and it brings me back to the original picture. Okay. Now, even though I just showed you all of these adjustments, we aren't really going to edit that way. I'm going to show you a different way to edit. But why you're experimenting with these is because it's going to help you when you edit in Camera Raw. So I'm going to go into my history, and if I click back on this picture, see here, this records everything that I did. If I just click back on the picture, it will open as if I just opened it. So I go to my layers, all those layers are gone. Look, so if I go back here and go to my layers, they're there. And my history is like my undo button. If I click back up, this is where I just opened it. And then all those layers are gone. Okay. So once you're done doing all of your adjustments and then writing them on this sheet, okay, then you can go and you can do your raw edit. So we would go to filter and we're going to go to convert for smart filters. And it's going to do nothing except for make this little square right here. Then we're going to go to filter and we're going to go to camera raw filter. Hit yes. And let me just, there we go. So the same thing in here, okay? But by doing all of the adjustments first, it's going to help you understand when you're editing in Camera Raw. Because there's so much more in Camera Raw than there is in just the adjustments. So start here in basic and you can, so I'm going to take the yellow out of this picture a little bit. So I just went over a little bit. You can do your exposure. Say you did it too much and you're trying to get it back on that 0, but you just can't quite get it. You can always just click right in here and just type in 0 and it will go back. Now, this one will change just your highlights. So all the highlights it will move. And then this one will change your shadows. Okay. Your whites. You want it to be a little brighter. Your blacks. Now, these three right here, a little goes a long way. I probably would never go this far over, like in 52 area with, you know, clarity, vibrance, or saturation. But I will show you what they do. Okay, so you can soften up a picture. A lot of like newborn photography, they'll kind of go a little bit on the softer side and smooth out the skin of the baby. Again, you can just hit 0 if you want it to be that way. And then vibrance, okay. And then saturation. Okay, a little bit goes a long way with these three. So just keep that in mind. And then hit OK. So if you forget how to do the smart filter in the Camera Raw, if you go back into Classroom, Camera Raw, here's step-by-step instructions as well. Okay?